Hello, my name is Will Chrisman. This is the World Tour Culminating Project. This is the year 1500 to the year 1700. Renaissance, Reformation, and the Age of Exploration. First off, we have the Ottoman Empire, located here, in the Middle East, including Egypt, Turkey, that area. The Inca Empire consists of Ecuador, Peru, this area, and the mountain ranges of South America. Aztec Empire, Mexico, Yucatan Peninsula mainly. Songhai Empire was in Western Africa, right in this area. Silk Road ran from the Mediterranean all the way to China, many different routes, very long road system. The Trans-Saharan trade route ran from the West African empires, such as Songhai, to the Ottoman Empire, Egypt. They traded gold and salt, ivory. The Mughal Empire is in India, mostly northern India, and what is now modern-day Pakistan. The Ming Dynasty in China is mainly located in southern China, in this area. Japan, the Tokugawa Shogunate, right here on Japan. The Renaissance began in Italy due to the trade connections that Italy had. It's a very major trading hub, I should say, in the Mediterranean Sea. One of the painters of the Renaissance, Michelangelo, painted here, Sistine Chapel. He painted the roof. Da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa. He's also an Italian. The reason that the Renaissance, another reason that the Renaissance began in Italy was due to the fact that patrons who were wealthy merchants that benefited from the trade, due to the fact that Italy was a trading hub in the Mediterranean Sea, were able to buy art and to have pieces of art commissioned. So this gave artists like Da Vinci and like Michelangelo, Raphael, a job. Shakespeare, part of the Northern Renaissance, England, or Stratford-upon-Avon, worked in the Globe Theatre. He wrote Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, other notable plays. Erasmus, also an Englishman, he wrote Plays of Folly, which was a book which was against the Catholic Church and its corruptions. Humanism was begun first by Petrarch in Italy, because in his poetry, normally people of the time would write poetry comparing something or someone to God, God-like beauty, something like that. He never included God in any of his poetry, so he focused on people. He is the father of humanism. The printing press, invented by Johannes Gutenberg in 1455 in Germany. It helped spread the Renaissance and the Reformation, since information was now able to be spread around so much easier, because before you would have had to have taken the book and written down everything that had been written. This was only able to be done in monasteries where there were more educated people. Growth of secularism. This is the growth of moving away from the church. More people focused on themselves than just simply the idea of heaven and just getting there. Individualism, again, focusing on yourself, not the church. Religious tolerance built out from the Reformation. People began to split and do this secularism. People were less connected and less sort of hardcore about their religion. So if you were Catholic, you wouldn't just go out and kill a bunch of Protestants. You do religious tolerance. Other Reformation ideas were usury. These were very high interest rates set by the church, because at the time only the church really had enough money, and they were willing to actually give money out to merchants on a very high interest. There were other church corruptions, such as simony. This was if you were a rich man, you would be able to buy, per se, a cardinalship, or you could become a bishop simply for buying the position. You didn't really have to become a priest or earn it. Martin Luther began, in a way, the Reformation by posting his 95 Theses in Wittenberg, Germany. These were all points in the church, the 95 Theses, they were all points in the church that he wanted to address. He didn't want to start anything, he just wanted to start a debate. The Bible, the Gutenberg, it also helped, the printing press also helped us spread Christianity simply because Bibles were now able to be printed so much faster. So there's something called the Gutenberg Bible. This was the first thing that Gutenberg printed, was the Gutenberg Bible, which was able to spread around the world. It was able to be printed very fast. Protestant people that were not Catholic. John Calvin, he was also a reformer, but he was more very anti Catholic, really. He started Calvinism. You believe in predestination. That means that God chooses who will go to heaven, not based on your actions or whatever you do. They were known as Huguenots in France. King Henry the VIII was king of England at the time of the Reformation. He wanted to divorce his current wife because she wouldn't give a son, but the Catholic Church does not recognize divorce. So, in order for him to not have the wife, he had to sort of start his own church. That he did in the Act of Supremacy, where he invented a separate church, Church of England. Well, he just broke from the Catholic Church in order to divorce his wife. Elizabeth I followed soon after Henry VIII was his daughter. She really brought about the Anglican Church, which Henry VIII sort of started the idea for. But she's the one that sort of started it up, but she was also very tolerant of other religions. So she allowed Catholics to live there and also Protestants. Spanish Armada, which the Spanish built in order to invade the now Protestant England. This was defeated with the help of... This was defeated when it was trying to take England. The 30-Year War was fought in Germany, Czech Republic, Austria, that area, which was ruled by the Habsburgs family. They were a Catholic family. They were fighting against the Protestant princes that wanted to be Protestant because they didn't have to pay such high Catholic taxes. And the result of this war was that the princes could decide their own religion, and the Habsburgs could not tell them what religion they had to be. In France, the Edict of Nantes was passed. This allowed French Protestants, known as Huguenots, and Catholics the right of freedom of religion. Cardinal Richelieu lived in France. During the 30-Year War, he gave French troops, not to the Habsburgs. He was a Catholic. He was a Catholic cardinal in Catholic France. He gave troops to Protestant princes. This sort of began looking past people's religion and looking towards politics during the war. So it really helped further religious tolerance. John Huss and John Wycliffe both were early reformers of the church. They were sort of the first. They really set up the stage. The Council of Trent, which was in Trent, Italy, this was held by the Pope and major other figures of the church. This began a counter-reformation, which was to go against the Reformation to try and stop it. The result of this was that they began the Society of Jesus, known as the Jesuits. This was started for the purpose of spreading Christianity, or spreading Catholicism. They built churches, they built schools, they built all sorts of things. They were they were the very educated part of the church. They were very educated missionaries, essentially. This also began the Inquisition. This was begun to hunt down heretics. Anyone who said anything against the church, like Martin Luther. They never got him, though.
During the age of exploration, explorers were motivated by gold, God, and glory.
Gold, money. By going on these trips, you'd be able to get a lot of money. You could get a lot of land that you could later use, and you'd be a very rich man if the journey was successful. Another one was God. This was to spread Christianity. So anywhere that you would go, you would build a church, try to convert anyone that you could get to your branch of Christianity. The Spanish, whenever they went somewhere, they would try to convert any rulers that they could find to Catholicism and build as many missionaries as they could. Another one was glory. Again, if you went on one of these journeys, you could potentially become a governor of one of the places that you founded. And of course, if the journey was successful, you could be knighted in your country.
Other explorers such as...
Actually, I'm not an explorer. I'm Prince Henry the Navigator. I opened a school for explorers such as the Gum over here, and Columbus. But after all, I am the one who taught them all my navigation skills. And explorers such as...
Vasco da Gama.
So Vasco da Gama, what did you accomplish?
I sailed from Europe to India under
And other explorers such as...
Christopher Columbus.
So Christopher Columbus, what did you accomplish?
I sailed the ocean blue in 1492.
Interesting, where'd you go to?
I thought I was in India, but I discovered the New World.
Cortez, he was a Spanish conquistador. He went down and conquered the Aztecs. He also later became governor of one of the Spanish colonies. Pizarro, also Spanish, he sailed from Spain down to conquer the Inca. Drake, he was English. He was the second person to circumnavigate the globe. The first was Magellan. Magellan was Spanish. Drake was a privateer. He raided Spanish colonies and attacked their ships in his ship, the Golden Hind.
Explorers such as...
Jacques Cartier.
So Jacques Cartier, what did you accomplish?
I sailed for France. I explored Canada.
The colonies that these countries set up as they took over new land would model the government and society and culture of the places in Europe. The only thing was that if you were a native, you were at the lowest class of society, other than a slave, which weren't even considered people.